going on? It's your boy Airsoft motherfucking Fatty, and welcome to another edition of Cooking with Fatty. I've gotten over a recent kind of sinus infection that kicked my ass for a while, and today I wanted to make something to help kind of nurse me back to health and finish kicking the rest of this little bug's ass. And so today, we're making a stew. Now, I bet you're thinking to yourself, what kind of stew are we making today? Well, we're making the Airsoftfatty BEEFIN stew. BEEFIN stew. Now, what's BEEFIN stew? It is a beef stew that uses a chicken broth base instead of your typical beef with a beef broth. So we're going to hop right into this. Now, today, we're going to need a handful of tools. So let's go over the tools of the trade. First off, you're going to need yourself a pan. Something nice size about this. Just needs to work, you know what I'm saying? Find them in most every store. Then you need yourself a pan like this for your meats. You're going to need yourself an oven that can reach bare minimum 500 degrees. By the way, this is a recipe that has helped me lose a shit ton of weight. Kind of the reason why I have to keep kind of hiking these up, you know? Even with my belt on, the dang things are small. Small, I mean big. If they're small, that'd be the reverse situation. That being said, not only are you going to need that, but you're going to need yourself one sharp knife and one spoon and a spatula. A spatula. A steel-headed spatula. Fuck it. Okay, you know what? The fork's at least usable. Fuck it. It's at least usable. So we're going to use a fork instead of a spatula. Oh, that teleporter, man. Makes your body wiggle. Makes the jeans come a little loose, you know what I'm saying? Now we're going to go over ingredients, to which I need to pull one more out. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go over our ingredients list. First off, you need a pepper. Now, you're not going to need a whole shit ton. And realistically, that's just because this pepper is pretty much out the door already. There's really only one section here that seems healthy enough to eat, really. Look at all that wrinkling. Look at that old man nutsack-looking pepper there. All wrinkly and shiz. Realistically, depending on how the inside looks. If it looks good, we'll use more of it, but currently that looks a little kind of iffy, you know what I'm saying? Next up, you're going to need yourself some broccoli. We got some fresh broccoli here. Fresh. Next up, you're going to need yourself 3 small potatoes. You're going to need 3 small potatoes. You're going to need yourself 1 single lemon. You're going to need yourself some diced onion. You're going to need yourself some beef. And I have some extra broccoli stalks that I am going to boil in the chicken broth to kind of get some flavor out of the stalks. We're going to ditch the stalks. And then we're going to go ahead and retoss in our broccoli, because we're going to boil the broccoli. Wake up, healthy. So, first things first. We're going to wash our potatoes, make sure they're clean, and we're going to toss them in the oven at 450 degrees. And if my sister could help me out with setting a timer, we're going to want to set a timer for roughly 30 minutes. We're going to check on them. You're going to want these bad boys nice and tender when you pull them out. But in about 30 minutes at about 400 to 450 degrees, it should give you a nice tenderness, something simple. I'm going to drop it down about 415, 425. just to make this more slower, more even cook. Place them evenly apart. Throw it in. Don't worry if you heard a sizzle. That's just some water that dripped out onto the hot surface. Now, while that's baking away and getting ready for its next step, we are going to be chopping our broccoli and getting it ready for its next step, which will be boiling. So when you cut your broccoli, there's a few ways you can do it. I like to do it in a mix. Now, if you come here on the stalk, and you come right here where all the tinier branches peel off, you can cut and just kind of break it apart. Give yourself a more finer broccoli. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next step we need to do is get our water for these broccolis boiling. We're going to need that pan later. Right now, we're going to fill this pan up with some water. We'll boil the broccoli until it's nice and tender. Then we're going to drain it. Once the potatoes are done, we're going to slice them up into sections. And we're going to mix it in with the broccoli. We're also going to be mixing in our pepper. We mixed our broccoli and our potato together. And I'm going to pre-slice our pepper. Back to you guys once this is done being peeled up. Okay, now that I've diced my peppers up, now the water's just starting to get to a point where it's producing bubbles. We're going to throw up broccoli a little early, but we want to get this going. We want to be efficient with our time here. And now we're going to let that boil. You see this cutting board? We're actually going to need it. I was going to toss it, but we need it for one more thing. And that's prepping our beef tips. Now, the beef we're going with is a simple Chicago Steakhouse rubbed choice seasoned beef loin tip steak. We're just going to pull this right out. Put it on the board. And slice these strips.
Wake up, filthy.
our meat is done being chopped, we're going to throw it on the pan and get it ready to fry on up. Put it on, you want to make sure it's all evenly spread out. Spread out, you're going to be able to get it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to pull our broccoli off the stove. Put our beef on top of it. Then we're going to take our lemon that we chopped into fours. And we're just going to sprinkle lemon juice goodness onto this meat. All right. Cutting it into fours isn't necessary per se, but it makes it easier for me to squeeze out all the juice out of each lemon. You're getting a thorough coating of lemony zest. Now, once our beef is all browned and ready to go, we're going to throw in our peppers to help give them a little saute and add some flavor to the beef. And once we're getting close to when we're going to put our beef in, we'll get our rest of our veggies and stuff like that ready to go. Now we are at a happy point here where we can start prepping our broth, our broccoli. Our potatoes shouldn't need too much longer. So what you're going to want to do, fill your pot up with some water, obviously. Okay? Now you're going to want about maybe a fifth to a quarter of the pot of some water. You don't need a shit ton. We're going to get that boiling here. To my lovely assistant, how much longer is left on the timer?
6 minutes.
We got 6 minutes left on the timer, ladies and gentlemen. Those potatoes will be ready to dice up. This meat might become ready before the potatoes, which is NBD. NBD at all. Basically, we're going to cook this meat all the way up until that's at a boil. Once this is at a boil, I might need to put a little extra water in. I forgot. That's a lot of fucking beef we got. A little extra water in here. But once this is at a rolling boil, we're going to add in our broth flavoring, which is going to be chicken. This is why it's called a BEEFIN stew, because it uses a chicken broth with beef meat. And then, of course, around half the vegetables are usually what you would find in a chicken soup. Half are going to be from like a beef soup. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our potatoes are now ready to be sliced and thrown in with the broccoli to boil. The meat's just now getting done. If you're looking at the overhead, you'll notice that I've switched sides. The boiling water is on the side the meat was on. Swap sides just because the meat came done a little bit earlier. So I went ahead and killed the heat on one side and switched the sides over. Now I'm going to grab these extra hot potatoes. Hot potatoes. The Wiggles would be proud to hear about this hot potato. And we're going to chop these bad boys up. Oh, God. Good farts. Healthy farts. I'm using a different knife. And you won't be able to see this part because it's a hot stove top and the camera overhead's right here. Not here where I got to chop it, so. Now, currently, I'm inclined to add a little bit extra water. This pot's definitely going to be reaching its capacity once we start putting our meats in. And that's okay. That's a good thing. My God, I might make a SpongeBob reference and have another. Okay, enough eating the product. Let's wait for our broth to boil. Throw our meats in. We're almost done, ladies and gentlemen. Now what we're going to do, put this back on the heat so the fat that got cool can reheat up. We'll slowly take our spoon, start scooping all this in. Once it's reached another nice rolling boil, everything is in place. The ingredients are together. They've all boiled together. This all looks tasty, actually. I'm going to make my bowl real quick. Broth. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking at the overhead camera, you're looking at perfection in a bowl. A nice balanced meal that helps you keep pretty keto friendly on your diet. So without further ado, I'm going to hop on the PC to start that camera up, and we're going to eat this food and give it a nice taste test. And ladies and gentlemen, had a piece of spice stuck under my tongue. Let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are with our meal, our BEEFIN stew. And I'm going to say it right now, the chef hat comes off regardless of the hair day we're having, because today, ladies and gentlemen, it is about trying what is honestly one of my favorite type of meals to have, some BEEFIN stew. Without further ado, I'm going to get a good bite with some pepper, potato, broccoli. Here we are, bite with some broccoli, potatoes, some onion, onion, a little bit of pepper. That really was a nice, full experience bite. And a little bit of the pepper on there, a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of potato, a little bit of the meat. I'm going to be honest. Flavor-wise, this recipe gets a 9 out of 10. It is homey. It tastes nice. It reminds you of a nice countryside, single-story cabin. Very nice. For the difficulty, I give this 5 stars. If you know how to make meat, you can make this pretty easily. If you don't, you're going to fuck this up pretty badly. How often would I eat this if I had to have it at a frequency? A little Parmesan cheese, I could see myself having that every day. That's pretty damn good. I'm going to give this overall a 9 out of 10. Solid meal that I suggest anyone tries to make because it is super simple, super easy to create, super flavorful, with minimal effort needed. This is proving to you guys that eating healthy and eating good is totally doable no matter what skill level you have. This is a tasty stew, a nice soup, a great way to help heal up from a nice sinus infection that you've been fighting for a while, and a great way, all in all, to just feel a lot better about yourself and eating something a lot tastier. That being said, I hope you all have enjoyed today's video, and I hope I've inspired you to take a moment and check out our description, because every description to every video we've ever done always has links in them. Those links are usually beautiful things that are some of the extra stuff we do, like my Instagram, my Twitch, and well, if you're ever looking for the perfect gift and you want to help support the channel, you can get yourself a CAMEO, where, well, no matter you need it for a birthday, a wedding, or you're a business looking to celebrate a party, I'm your guy to hit up over on CAMEO. And don't forget to mention we have merch. I don't think you guys realize that. That being said, I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And continue to tune in to every video. We go live on Twitch every day, around 5 to 6 p.m. And we go live for about an hour to 2 hours at a time minimum. So make sure to check us out there. Make sure to show this channel some love by sharing this video out. Tell your friends, tell your families about it. Your boy is finally getting healthy and isn't eating like shit and mixing banquet dinners together. That being said, this has been your boy. And I'm peacing out and gonna enjoy the rest of my meal.